Hello guys, welcome to NASpedia. I'm Sam. Well, today we're going to talk about an important app that is in our control panel, which is network and virtual switch. Why do we have to mention about this? Because you have to know that NAS is a device that must connect to internet, so you can use it, use your remote control devices like your cell phone or your computer from the internet to connect to your NAS and to upload or download something. And then, why do we also need to talk about the virtual switch? Because NAS is not as simple as a internet storage devices. It can also be a very functional tool for the developers or the artists if you have to test something or you want to build your own web page, or you need to do AI, or you need to use our NAS as your computer, which you need to install like virtual machine. Then you will need to use a virtual switch, which you can turn any of the Ethernet port into a virtual switch inside of your NAS. So this episode will be a little bit boring, but still that is very important. And I will just simply go through everything to show you like if you need what kind of function, where you can find the solution inside of our network and virtual switch. So let's get into the PowerPoint first. And we will start from the overview. Okay, so let's go back to my computer. Well, this is my NAS, and if you are looking for your network virtual switch, just open your control panel, go to Network File Services, and the first one is the network virtual switch. And we have changed the user interface after the QTS version 4.3.5. So if you haven't upgraded your QTS version, please go upgrade it. Once you turn on your network virtual switch, we will go to overview. And now this is the like a map. It has two parts. The upper part shows you the front and the back of your NAS, and the green one, which is the adapters that is now working on. So you can see the default system default gateway, which is at adapter 2, and then your physical adapter or your virtual adapter, how many you have and how many has been used, your current WAN IP, and your primary and secondary DNS server IP address. Okay, so it's very easy and obvious to see everything you need. And down here is simply like a map. You can see here we have virtual adapters for 4, and then right here total we have 4, and now 2 is now 2 are now enabled, so we have 2 now used. And the virtual switch right here, we have 2 virtual switch which I built, and then how many physical adapters are now connected to a Ethernet port connector? We have 2. And here we can choose the mode for detail mode or simple mode. We can see that for simple mode, you will only see the name of the device that is using the virtual adapter which connected to the virtual switch. And the detail mode, you can also see the upload download status and the device name and the IP address for now. Right here we have blue line and gray line. The blue line means that it's now connected to the virtual switch and also is now enabled. And the gray line, which means that it is connected to the virtual switch, but it's not enabled, which might be the virtual machine is now turned off, so it's not working. But that doesn't mean it's not connected to it. And from this page, we can see that we can have several of the virtual machine connected to one virtual switch. And but there should not be one virtual switch, 2 virtual switch connect to one virtual machine, right? And then the virtual switch goes to the physical adapter, and this adapter too can go to the internet. Okay, so this is how the whole map should be. And we can see a filter right here. You can choose by all, or if you have a lot of the virtual switch, or the virtual adapter or physical adapter, which you need to scroll up and down, you think is complex, we can just choose directly like container station, no, virtual switch, we have 2, and the status. physical interface, we have two. So this is how you can easily choose the information that you want. And since we have a lot of different icons here, so basically you can choose the legend and it will show you the corresponding icon with the specific design. So you don't have to worry about if there's any icon that you cannot recognize what it is. And for each of the adapter and switch, we can all click the three dots here and we can execute it, or we can we can do the setting, or okay, sorry, I need to go back. For the physical switch, we can locate it, or we can also do the setting of the physical adapter. Okay, sorry. Yeah, and up right here, we also have a NIC list. We can see how many physical NIC we have and how many virtual we have, and how many NICs are enabled and with the MAC address. So if you want to know the MAC address, we can call here, and if we just want to know the whole status, we just go here. Okay, so this is the first part of our overview of our network and virtual switch. So if you want to look for something that is only code information, we can go here, and we can also share the information to other people if they need any of the detail. And right here, once we click the locate, you can see the corresponding port will flash, so you will be able to know if you want to unplug it, where you should go to. Okay, this is the first part. Then let's go to the next part. We go to the PowerPoint. And next part, we will go to network. And since we have 4 parts in network, we have interfaces, virtual switch, DHCP server, and route. So we will go one by one. The first one will be the interfaces. Right here, we can see all the physical adapter list. We have 2 tabs, interfaces and Wi-Fi. We start one by one. Okay, we have 6 of the adapter, and we can check how many are enabled and how many is not enabled, now disconnected. And for the adapter, you can all change. You can all change the name so that you don't really have to remember, like, okay, if I am using my specific adapter and which adapter it is, number 1 or number 2, you don't really have to. You just rename your adapter, and it's very easy for you to make it back to default. And you can see the IP address right here, and if this adapter now working as a virtual switch, and the network speed, vendor name, and the NIC model. And for this 1685, we have Intel this i211, or we have the 10 gigabit adapter, which is by the Mellanox, and it supports the smart offload function, so it can give you a higher efficient. Okay, and right here we also have the configuration tab. We can check for the activity monitor. So since we have 2 adapters now connected, so we can see the usage. Each 10 minutes will be 1 chart, the receive and the send, and the IPv4 and the 6 IP address. And now we can see the network total usage right here. So if you want to check for the status or the current status, we can go to the monitor, activity monitor, then we will be able to see the condition. Next part, we can go to configure. Okay, this has been a virtual switch, so it can only configure the jumbo frame. And we all know that there are pros and cons of the jumbo frame. To use the jumbo frame, the pros will be that it's faster than not using a jumbo frame. But the cons will be that once the jumbo frame dropped, you will have to do everything back from the end again, because the jumbo frame, which it combines a lot of frame together as one big jumbo frame. So once you lost it, you have to do it all over again. And then we can do the configuration to set the DHCP IP address, or we can just assign it a static IP address. And we can also set the jumbo frame or the network speed. And for the jumbo frame, we need to mention one thing. If we have 3 spots, NAS computers, and if 3 of these devices, they have set their jumbo frame at the same digit, that will be fine. But once one of the 3 devices set the different jumbo frame, and the data might not be able to go to the different jumbo frame device. So to solve this problem, we can easily, like to reset, or we can go back in and then do the setting again, make 3 of the jumbo frame digit the same, then everything will be okay. And for IPv6, we can also enable it and make it functional. Basically, per my own experience, if you are a surveillance industry or you are a RD IT guy, you might be able to use the IPv6. Most of the users that I've met, they all use IPv4 and they say that will be enough. So it depends on your usage. And DNS or VLAN, you can all set by yourself. And to mention about the network and virtual switch, I think it's very important to tell you what is VLAN, because VLAN is very useful. Once it's functional, it can solve you a lot of problems. So here, let's take on this picture. Imagine that this is a 16-port switch. Okay, we just ignore the color. Imagine that now we have 4 computers connected to this switch, and if my PC1 want to broadcast something to look for mark PC2, the broadcast will be sent to every port. So the same broadcast will go back and forth inside of the switch for 16 times into 16 copies. But only for looking for one computer. And the PC2 got this broadcast and say, okay, PC2, I'm here. And then PC2 respond, PC1, then everything just finished. But for the port 3 to 16, they will also get this broadcast, but they will only reply like, I'm not PC2, I don't need this, and then they drop that. So in order to find one computer, you broadcast for 16 times and you you broadcast for 15 times and you waste the extra 14 times. So that is such a waste, which will also increase the loading for your switch. So here comes another concept. We easily separate this switch into 4 parts. 4 ports as a part. So we will have 4 parts, and these 2 parts, we just ignore that. We can separate port 1 to 4 in green and 5 to 7 in 5 to 8 in orange, which represent 2 different virtual LAN. So when PC1 now looking for PC2, it will also do the broadcast work, but the broadcast will only go back and forth between port 1 to port 4. So there will be less loading from port 1 to port 16. So this is another way that you can lower your loading to your switch, which will give you the advantage that if you have 16 port in broadcasting for another 16 time, that will be 196. God, I'm good at mathematics. So this is another way to protect your data lost, especially when you are using jumbo frame. Okay, but people will ask, what if I have 2 switches? Of course, you can also set that once you have connect 2 of your switch in series, and you can set port 1 to 4 from switch 1 and switch 2 into VLAN 1, and 5 to 8 from 2 of the switches into VLAN 2. Then you can easily connect each other without increasing more unnecessary loading to your switch. And here's another thing. If I have a 26 port of the switch, in my company, I can easily use the VLAN to separate 12 ports for internet and for WAN, and another 12 port for LAN. So the LAN 12 port can be used for the employees and workers, which they just want to, send things and doing the transmission inside of their intranet. And we can also prevent people from LAN going to these companies, like maybe like demo site or the website, and trying to find another way to get into the intranet. So this is how the VLAN can block the internet connection. Okay, so this is the VLAN, and it's very easy to set. Right here, I have this one, the 10 gigabit. I set it as VLAN 1. This also as VLAN 1. So these two can be VLAN 1. Okay, and the 3 and 4. This I have set it as VLAN 2. Also this one, VLAN 2. So these two, the two 1 gigabit ports and the two 10 gigabit port, now they are in virtual LAN. Okay, so this is how it works in their own virtual LANs. And then we can go to port trunking. We have already talked about port trunking in the very first NASpedia, but still I will just briefly tell you about that. Port trunking, we can just call add and then choose the port that you want to do the port trunking. Then we can go next to check by you want to check by the method, your type of your port trunking you want to set. Basically, we have like this: connect to NAS without a switch or without a normal switch, no internet management function switch. Or we can also use the port trunking to trunk two ports with a management switch. So how many port trunking type we have? Basically, we have 7 right here. Port trunking. You just go to help and you can search for port trunking. Then you can then you will find this tab, and you can check if you're an IT guy or you want to set something for your company. You can just go here first and check for the most suitable type for you. And then we can also set the system default gateway. Okay, I'll just briefly tell about this since we talked about this before. And if we have two gateway, we need to choose one to be the default, and the other maybe you can use it as a backup. So this tab will make your NAS select the system default gateway automatically for you. But if you want to specify your own main gateway or your failover gateway, we can go here and select the main gateway for you, and then set another failover gateway. Since we might have more than 2 gateways, so depends on your usage. And here is where you can disable or enable the NCSI, network connectivity status indicator, which is right here. This icon, global icon, shows that with this icon shows that this path is now going to internet. Without the global icon shows this path is not now going onto the internet. So if you under some circumstances, if you don't want other people to see if you have this, we can go to interface and then disable it. But it doesn't mean once you disable it and the global icon will disappear. No, because the NCSI detects each 30 minutes. So you can see it's still right here. Why? Because you turn off the NCSI function while the NAS detect now this path is onto the internet. So if you want to make this disappear, very simple. We go here and then don't check it, unplug the internet after a certain time, maybe no longer than 30 minutes. And when the icon disappeared, then we go back here to disable. Then we can plug the connector back to your NAS. Then you will never see the Earth icon again. Okay, so this is the second part, and then we go to Wi-Fi. Well, you know that QNAP, we have provided you a PCIe wireless adapter, which is AC2600. So you can use this and turn your NAS into a wireless AP. Of course, you can use the Wi-Fi antenna to receive other Wi-Fi around the NAS. But if you just want to do this, I would suggest you to buy a USB Wi-Fi dongle. Simply plug that into your USB port, and then you can go to the Wi-Fi. You can go to this Wi-Fi tab and search for the useful Wi-Fi you want to use. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. Next, we will go to the virtual switch. Okay. Virtual switch. So before we check on the virtual switch, we need to know what are virtual switches. Basically, every time you turn on a new app, it will show you the welcome page. Then for this one, it will show you what is virtual switch. So it's easier management for virtual network services, optimize network resources, and it's very easy for you to switch from your Thunderbolt or your 40 gigabit Ethernet adapters. Because it's not real. So you can have one physical adapter and make it 2, 3, 4 virtual switches to make it a virtual switch, and it can, you know, like connect to all the other virtual machines, like virtual machines which doesn't really physical exist, and virtual switch which the switch doesn't really physical exist. They are all virtual inside of this NAS. So you can have more than one virtual switch, you can have more than one virtual machine, all connect to one physical adapter. And then when this one physical adapter goes to the internet, all the virtual machine, they can go to internet also. So here are the list. We have adapter 2 to adapter 6, which are available, whereas adapter 1 is right here. Why? Because it's already assigned to be a virtual switch. So the adapter 1 now, you can take it as a switch, and all your virtual machine can connect to this switch. And then once this adapter goes to the internet, all these devices can go to internet. So it's very easy for us to add any new virtual switch, and you can choose a mode like software defined or basic mode or advanced mode. Right here we click on the basic mode and we simply just click any one, and then now I clicked apply, and now this adapter has been a virtual switch after the page. Yeah, see, this is the new one. Since I already have this new virtual switch, I can assign new virtual machine or previous existed machine into this switch. So if I have this 2 virtualization station goes to virtual switch 4, and 2 Linux station go to the adapter 1. In the virtual world, they are now in different separated internet structure, okay, but they are all in my NAS, right? And since we can add it, we can of course delete it. So this is how we can use our virtual switch. Then we go to the slides and we go to next topic, which is our DHCP server. We all know that DHCP, it will assign you different IP address each specific time, because the IP address won't be static. If you want to choose a static IP address, it will be much more expensive. So we can set your port on your NAS to be a DHCP server. So you can connect a switch or a hub onto that adapter, and then you can have 4 or 8 or even more devices onto the hub. Then that port will take itself as a DHCP server and do the IP address assignment for all the other new device that is under the internet layer of this DHCP server. Under or above, you know what I mean. So we just simply click on the add and we choose a adapter here. Then we can choose 3 modes. The first one is enable DHCP server on the current network, And the second one, we reassign an IP address for this adapter. So we change the IP address for the current IP address. And then we enable a DHCP server on a new subnet. And the third one, we enable a DHCP for another subnet. So you can just choose like what kind of the type you want. So for me, I will just choose the enable DHCP server on the current network. But if for your total internet environment, you have other DHCP server keep sending new assignment for DHCP IP address, it will conflict and make a mess. So if I were you, I won't do this. If I were you, I would maybe I will reassign an IP address and create a new DHCP server, okay? So of course you can enable it and you can also delete it. For the DHCP server is for IPv4 users. If you want to use IPv6, please, we can go to RADBD. Right, we'll go to next topic. Then the next topic will be route. Okay, for the route, basically for the route page, we will see the IPv4 and IPv6. We can see the main route table. So you can check for the destination, the net mask, the gateway metric, and the interface of the current status you have. But for what's more important is the static route. What is static route? We can add a static route, we can assign its own destination and all the other information, so that once if you want to connect to your NAS, okay, this is your NAS, and this is your this is the path for all the people to go to your NAS. And this is your NAS, and this is the first path, and you can the static route provides you another safer way that you can easily not to being hacked, or if you have a VPN purpose, you can set the static route. So if you are at your home, your office, you want to connect to your NAS, you can choose the static route, which will be much more safer and sometimes even faster, because no one is going on the main gateway, and the bandwidth is all for you. So if you my static route explanation is not clear enough, but if you want to know more about the static route, we can go to live.qnap.com, and then we can go to network and virtual switch, because we have, okay, maybe just virtual switch, because we have Sam Lin. Sam Lin, he is an expert to the network virtual switch. This one. Also, he will introduce you very clear about what is static route. So if you want to know more, please go there, and we can choose IPv4 or IPv6, depends on your demand. Then we go to the last part. The last part will be, we can go to PPT first. Then we go to the last part, which is in another tab, Access Services, DDNS. Well, we all know that QNAP provides you My QNAP Cloud as your DDNS, And if you are in other country that you need your own DDNS, maybe by the company policy or the internet environment, that using your own DDNS will be much more faster, then you can add your own DDNS. Just simply choose the DDNS server, and before you use it, you need to have a username and a password of that DDNS. So you just type them in, and then you can set a host name to your NAS, and you can check the to check the external IP address automatically from 5 minutes to 1 hour, depends on yourself. Then this will be your URL. So now you can, if you have enabled two of this QNAP Cloud and your own DDNS, which means you will have an extra connection from the internet world into your NAS. Okay, so speaking of the DDNS, also I need to speak of the Q-Link, the Cloud Link. We all know that DDNS is our QNAP server, and basically we provide you other way to connect to your NAS. So this is our DDNS server, and this is your NAS. Maybe this is your iPhone. Okay, now we are talking about the connection through DDNS. First, iPhone, we just key in sam.myqnapcloud.com. Okay, so since you are keying the myQNAP Cloud, so basically the connection will from your iPhone to our DDNS server, and you ask for the IP address of SAM, and DDNS server will keep looking for your NAS, and until the server find it, the NAS will give the DDNS the IP address maybe 211 point blah blah blah, and then the DDNS will send this IP address to your iPhone and tell your iPhone go for this address, and then your iPhone will directly go for this address and make a connection from your iPhone to your NAS. Then you won't be able to need this. Okay, so this is the DDNS server connection. What if you are looking for a Q-Link, Cloud Link, which will be Q-Link 2/SAM. Okay, when you type this, your iPhone will go to our DDNS server and said, give me SAM. And DDNS server will keep looking for SAM, and once it reaches the NAS, DDNS server will say, okay, I find it. What do you need? Let me know. I will ask it for you, and then I will send it to you. Which means all the data connection and transmission will be going back and forth through these three devices. So it will be slower, but it's another way for you to increase the successful rate to connect to your NAS. If your NAS is, like maybe inside of your company, and your company has set so many different rules that you cannot use the DDNS, then you can choose to use Cloud Link, the Q-Link. Or if you are, you rent a house outside and your internet environment is not really good, you have so many layers, and you can also try the Q-Link too to connect to your NAS. So this is also one of the way that we provide you to increase the successful rate to connect to your NAS. Okay, and this will be all the introduction for the network and virtual switch to you. If you want to know more, please go to live.qnap.com, and we go back to live now. Yes. Basically, the network virtual switch will be kind of a last episode, yeah, in the first season. So we might take a little break, and then we will see what we can bring you in the next season. And if you want to know more, go to live.qnap.com and search for NASpedia. You will see everything. And if you like our video, please don't forget to subscribe, or you can just share it. We will see you next time on NASpedia. Bye.